Hi guys, I'm back. It's so nice to see everybody. Thank you for watching this video and clicking on it. It's been a while. I think the last time that I was probably on YouTube was, it might have been the Mykonos vlog, which is, you know, like over half a year probably. So it's been a while. I basically am back on it because I've missed it. This is probably my favourite channel out of all social media channels because I can just talk very freely. I'm not timed to 30 seconds and you can just talk very openly on here, and it's kind of filterless and I love it. Also, I just happened to log on to my YouTube probably last week. As you guys would have seen from my Instagram story, I was kind of like trying to get a feel of what you guys want to see from the channel. Talking about cancer is a tricky one for me because when I was going through cancer, I kind of started my Instagram from that experience. I really wanted to share my experience. I wanted to relate to people. I wanted to just be very, like I say, filterless, very naturally showing the behind the scenes of what you have to do through chemo, as you would have seen from my previous videos. And so when I finished cancer and I was getting my life back on track and I'd started work again and my hair was coming back, I kind of wanted to shift it away to more lifestyle, life post-cancer, fashion-y style Instagram, but it is a big part of my life. And when I was going on YouTube, I noticed like thousands and thousands of you were really relating to those videos. In the comments I was reading everything, so I thought what better, as you can tell from the title, to talk about this journey on this channel. So I can keep my Instagram a bit separate for like lifestyle. My TikTok, I have started singing on that channel now, so if you want to check that out, I'll leave the link below in the description box. And then YouTube is just going to be everything in my life. So that includes my cancer journey, that includes like day in the life, that includes like taking you guys on trips with me. So yeah, in short, I am back and it's nice to be back. If you don't already, don't forget to subscribe, and let's kick off this video. So what I really wanted to do in this video is to basically take you guys through after I finished cancer basically. And that year of finishing treatment, a year on. I'm going to kind of cut it up into like maybe a 2-3 part series. So this first one's going to be finish cancer, what I did in that year, like how I got back into work. And then the second, third will be kind of like year 2 after, and then now I'm in my 3rd year and officially in remission. So I might do a completely separate video on that. So after I finished my cancer treatment, which was, oh my God, which was this day, 2019. And I only know that because it's my boyfriend's birthday today. And that's the day I finished cancer treatment, because he was playing at a festival and I'd finished. That is full circle moment. That's just freaked me the hell out. Anyway, this time 2 years ago. So basically I stayed between hospital and my own apartment at the time during treatment. So I just moved back into my apartment. I was also staying at my mum's house just because there's a lot of side effects and symptoms and stuff, and I did need someone to help manage them with me, because at times I literally physically couldn't walk up the stairs because the way the chemo works, I can't remember if I've spoken about this, but it just feels, you're sat there wired up to all these like chemo chemicals, and then basically you just afterwards feel like you've been literally run over by a bus, like without the broken bones, but it feels like broken bones. Like that's how I can describe my effects with chemo. So it just feels like every inch of me is bruised, battered. It feels like you've done a really hard gym session and you don't want to move. Like everything hurts, and even lifting like this is too much. Like I literally couldn't lift my hand at times because it's that bad. I don't know if that's normal for everybody, but that's definitely what I had. But anyway, after I finished cancer treatment, I moved permanently back into my apartment. Having my apartment during the treatment was really important for me to keep my independence and my freedom, and days I felt good I would just be at home by myself, and it was just really nice to like not be touched or examined by anybody. So I moved back into my apartment, and then basically at the time I had no hair, so my physical appearance didn't come back like that. It basically, I was bald. But my hair did start growing very fast, I will say, after I finished the cancer treatment. So like, and I'm not talking like this length because this is like 2.5-3 years in the making. But I remember being like, as soon as I stopped, there's a certain drug in my schedule, as soon as I stopped that drug, it's like steroid drug, my face had gone like into a moon shape, like so round from the chemo drug. As soon as I stopped that drug, my face went back to normal straight away, really fast, probably like a week, 2.5 weeks after I stopped treatment. And then my hair started growing like really little stubs, like literally 2-3 weeks after. Now I'm talking like, I'll see if I can find a photo because I'm talking like stubs, but I'll insert a photo here if I can find one. And so that was kind of like my physical appearance at the time in the first month. It did start growing back. It was very slow, which was very painful. And I know you guys message me a lot in my DMs about patience with hair growth. It just has to, it just comes with the territory. There's no fast way of doing it. I have got a hair growth video if you guys want to see that down below, but there really is no like magic wand. Like, it does take time, but when it starts growing, I'd give it 1.5 years. It will definitely come back like faster and stronger. It's a bit of a weird one for me because when I finished treatment in July, I had my best friend's surprise 30th in Ibiza, which I was not gonna miss, in September, which is July, August, September, like 2 months after I finished chemo. My feelings that I can remember when I just tap into it were anxious, and it's actually quite weird going back like mentally because you kind of block this out. But like my feelings going into the holidays were anxious, and I was just basically anxious about what people would think of me with no hair. Jesus, when you're in it and you have no hair, it's weird. Like, weird is what I can say, because you're yourself, you feel the same way internally, like you're still yourself, but you don't have your safety blanket. And I think that is literally the key to like what I was feeling anxious about. So like, I didn't have my safety blanket of my mum, who'd literally taken like just stopped working the whole time to look after me. Like, I didn't have my mum coming to the Ibiza trip, and I had my best friend there who, thank God, is a nutritional therapist, so she could help me if I needed it. But I didn't have my safety blanket. I didn't have the hospital, which I'll go on to in a minute. Like, having that safety blanket taken from underneath your feet is the scariest thing after cancer that I felt. Like, I was so scared of not having my consultant near me. Like, what happened if something went wrong? What happened if my temperature spiked, or if I got an infection with my immune system down? Would I get sepsis? Honestly, all this stuff was going through my head, and it's an anxious moment. But my best friend, you know, like, I knew that she'd always had my back, and she was really happy that I went, and I was so happy that I went. So I went away and it was amazing. Ibiza, obviously, I didn't go to the clubs at night. I went on a boat trip, which was hilarious because I had no eyelashes at the time. I got some fake ones, and I like stuck them on my eyelids, because there's like special chemo ones. I think it's like Eyelure. And I stuck them on my eyelids, and I wore sunglasses, and the boat was going so fast that my eyelashes fell off. I think I had one down here and like over here, and me and my friend were just laughing. And do you know what? I was like, screw it. And I just got them and I just threw them in the sea. And I had my wig on as well. But like, guys, if you happen to be in a similar situation of going on a boat trip 2 months after chemo, you're wearing a wig, wear a cap. Absolute lifesaver. I even got into jump in the water with it, and I just kept my cap on, and it was real hair, so I could get it wet. But yeah, just hold on to your hair is what I would say. But yeah, so the whole trip was amazing. It was made such good memories. I had a cry, had a laugh. I know I mentioned that I was going to talk about leaving the hospital. That was a weird one for me, because when I started my chemo, hospital, I literally resented. Like, I resented being there. I resented like people touching me all the time to examine me. I resented going for scans. The waiting time of like finding out the results from a scan literally was like destroying my soul. Like, having to wait patiently to find out if you had cancer or not, like, that is the worst thing. Or if your biopsy comes back with a certain result, or it's just, that waiting killed me. So I resented hospitals. Like, I didn't want to be there. As soon as I had a scan, I wanted to leave. I was going in for blood tests like 4 times a week. I was getting my ovary scanned for my fertility like 3 times a week. Like, my whole life revolved around hospital, and I actually grew to love it. And I remember just making a conscious decision, going, this is gonna help me. Like, this place is my safe place right now, and this is the people, and these are the people, and And I just remember changing my mindset, and that's all it took. And I remember being like, why are you hating the place which is going to help you heal and recover and kill cancer? Like, why are you hating that place? And I was just scared. That's all it came down to. It came down to fear of, you know, something else going wrong. It came down to being scared of like doctors everywhere. It came down to like being separated from my family. Like, all it was is fear that caused that resentment. So as soon as I just changed my mindset and went, these people are here to help you, they have your best interests at heart, this is a safe place, like this is my cocoon and it's going to be temporary and then I can carry on in the real world. As soon as I changed my thought process to that, everything was fine. There was no stress, no anxiety. Even waiting for results was fine. Like, I wasn't scared, I wasn't nervous, I just breathed and I was very patient, and just that one mindset really helps. So I would recommend that, because I know how hard it is when you're having biopsies and blood tests and it's scary, but just know that everyone's here to help you. And everyone wants the best for you, and they want to find what's wrong and kick its ass. So that's my little piece of advice. But when I left hospital, as you can imagine, like, I was in hospital all the time. So leaving hospital after 3.5 months of literally living there, like having my own little room on the side, was scary. I felt like I was very vulnerable, which obviously I was, because my immune system wasn't that great. I felt like if there was something wrong, like, what do I do? I just miss having my like cocoon. And like even going into like the real world, like doing shopping or driving again, like that scared me, because I was like, if something goes wrong, like, can I recover faster, because I've been hit with so much chemo and so many drugs? I would say it is a time thing, getting rid of that anxiety. I definitely still have my moments now. So weird. Like, I would have thought that like 3 years I wouldn't have the worries and the anxieties that I do sometimes, and fears, which I will go on to talk about in a sec. But it's a time thing, and you just got to learn to manage it. So the ways I managed it are meditation. I literally do meditation every night before I go to bed, unless I'm so tired that I just fall asleep. And it's basically a deep healing relaxation guided meditation. I'll actually include the link below. It's on an app called Insight Timer, but there's another one on YouTube that I've been doing since I was 15. And I think just being open and honest with yourself and others around you is so important. Like, if you're feeling anxious, talk to somebody. Like, don't feel like just because you're released from hospital or you're in remission or it's 3 years ago you had cancer, like you can't speak to anyone because it's not what you're going through now. And like, for me, I kept thinking there's other people who are worse off, like I'm not important enough to vocalize like these fears and stuff, but actually you are, and everyone's important. You could have had chemo and cancer and been in remission for 20 years and still have the anxiety. Like, talk to somebody, talk to me. Slide in my DMs. Like, I always talk to people who are going through it in my DMs. Comment below. Like, honestly, like, you're never on your own is what I would say. And talking to someone who's been through it is really, really helpful. And also talking to someone who's not is also really helpful, because yeah, just go to people that give good advice, and that definitely helps that. That is pretty much how I overcame anxiety after leaving hospital. That is all the feelings that I felt in the first year. So then fast forward into 2020, so that's like 6 months after I finished chemo. I restarted work in January. I was doing it part-time basis, and I was working for Wilco at the time. And honestly, like, if it wasn't for my boss and the people there who supported me throughout everything, like, I don't know what I would have done. They were like super supportive, and they're like, you've still got a job after this. And that for me was like huge, because it's like I didn't have to rebuild that side. When I was rebuilding my personal health, I didn't have to rebuild my work. I think I went into the office like maybe once a month, just because of my immune system. I didn't want to risk it if anyone had a cold. I didn't know how strong it was, and they were fine. And then I just started working, you know, pretty normally. And then the pandemic happens. Literally, I could not believe it. I'd been through this whole self-isolating thing when I was on chemo. I had been through it all, and then just when you think you've come out the other end, normality's kicking back in, the universe goes, hang on a sec, Lauren, you need 2 more years of self-isolating. I couldn't believe it. I was like, well, I've been living this for a year, so like, what's another 2? Honestly, like, you can't make it up. So I barely went into the office, literally. I think, like I said, like I was in once a month, and then the pandemic hit, so we were all isolating from home, and I had to be really careful in the pandemic. I was one of the first ones to go up for the jab, the vaccination. I actually didn't do it straight away because I was sick of drugs, to be honest, and to be fair, I still am, because I'm just done with it. Like, I don't want any more jabs in my body. Like, I've got enough scars and chemicals that have hit my body. I'm just over it. Then I was joining everybody else in the world in lockdown, but I was really thankful for that time when COVID happened, because just when I thought I like had it all together and that I was going to go back into normality, I actually really needed self-reflection time. So the way I lived my life before I had cancer is so different to how I live it now. Sounds cliche, I know, but it honestly is so true. Like, people are always like, what did cancer teach you? And it taught me so much. Like, I learned patience, which I'm still working on now. I'm a Sagittarius, so I'm very impulsive. But I'm learning to be more patient. I'm learning to live more in the present moment. Before, I used to go out all the time, like make friends with so many people, like socialize all the time, like always be chasing the next thing. And my mum used to say, you're burning the candle at both ends. And now I'm like completely the opposite. Like, I'm not a recluse, but I just don't like the idea of going to a club all the time. I don't go out like all the time. I do like going to bars, and I love going out for food. For me, like, more meaningful conversations with people and connecting with people on a really deep level is a really big priority of mine now. So yeah, by doing those little life audits, that's something that I learned in the first year after coming out of the cancer treatment, to like just evaluate myself and hold a mirror up and look at myself and go, is this person who I was before cancer who I want to be now? And then it's just literally like such a good way to like rebuild your life, because you do rebuild your life after cancer, you know, your image changes. And then that leads me on quite nicely to dyeing my hair platinum blonde. So like, I thought, do you know what, I've always wanted to experiment like with my hair. It was like my sacred thing. I never touched it, and I never cut it. Like, literally, when I went to the hair salon, my hairdresser would kill me because I'm like, I only want that much off. And you could never tell that I had my hair cut because I was so precious about it. So when it was regrowing, I'll stick a photo here. I actually dyed it platinum blonde, and it felt so liberating and so free, because I was doing something that I've been wanting to do for ages, and people were like, don't do it, like leave your hair, it was beautiful before, just grow it out. I'm like, no, I love this vibe. I actually got it off this image, which is Zoe Kravitz. Like, she was my goals for like short hair, and it just felt like I was listening more to myself and doing what I wanted to do, instead of like living my life based off what other people said was right and wrong. And I'm still going through that journey now, and I will do a separate video on that, I think, because I think 3 years post cancer is a different ball game. Like, where I'm at right now is not where I was a year after I had cancer. I've learned a hell of a lot more, and I do want to share that with you, but I think it's going to be like a different one, because there's a lot more to that one, and it's further down the journey, and it's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'll do a fun like little catch up with you guys on that one another time. And I guess in terms of my hospital situation, I'd be going for checkups once a month, I think it was. So I'd go in, or we'd have like questions. Then I think after the first 3 months, maybe like 4 months after chemo, then it started being every 2 to 3 months, and then it was every 6 months, and now I'm in remission. So it's very sporadic, and it's just a way of weaning you off the system a little bit, which is good. But if ever I needed anything, I would just email my Hodgkin's lymphoma nurse. But that's kind of like how the journey getting away from hospital was. And you do realise that you forget that, you know, like 2-3 years after having it, you do forget that actually you have that support there, I would say, because you're kind of in this moment of like rebuilding your life, living your life. So that was really good that they kept checking in, and then declared like remission. I think it was like 2.5 years after I had it, which was good. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's basically so nice to share this experience with you guys. Whether you've had it or not, it doesn't matter. It's just nice to be able to pass on my experience, because I know that when I was going through it, just looking at people who have been through it was really helpful. And hopefully for those who haven't had it, it's a nice little catch up and you've learned a little bit more about me. But yeah, I would definitely do another one of like what it's like with life in remission. Comment below if you'd like to see it, because I do want to keep talking to you guys, creating content that you guys want to watch. And and I've got a couple more ideas of different videos I'm going to do. Now I'm kind of like back at it again, but it's so nice to be back. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe and leave any comments, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.